Hello, everybody. How everybody's doing today? This is Ella Marie Jean-Baptiste. I'm coming to you straight now. I'm coming to you from the law office of David Lee MPA. We do have a few questions that we did put out to all of our customer, maybe clients, to ask Mr. Ham. We're gonna see if we can have the show and live every Thursday about like 5 o'clock. Ask him questions. So send out your question. You can send them via email at admin@hamlaw.com, or you can just give the office a call. Our number is 904 307-3888. So I will be the one asking the question because I'm the one who sent out the link for people to ask question, ask Mr. Ham question. So we have a lot of people who are asking question about divorce. Like, you know, Mr. Ham, attorney Ham, handle divorce. Most of the question we have today, like you can see, I have plenty of them. We're just gonna respond. We're gonna ask 7 questions. And you can go back to the video. We want to say thank you to all of the people who show in. And then we're also going to put it in Facebook, on Instagram, and also in TikTok, so you can get the answers. So I'm going to turn the camera to Mr. Ham so he can go ahead and start answering those questions for you. But you're going to hear me in the background. So let's do it, guys. Hello, Mr. Ham. Can you introduce yourself a little bit to the listeners?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Ella. And I think you did a great job of introducing me as Attorney David Ham here in the Jacksonville area of Florida. I do practice in family law. That's one of my practice areas. As a litigator, I handle many different types of civil litigation, as well as criminal defense and appeals. So I do a variety of legal work.
Work?
Indeed.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it is work.
For those who follow us in TikTok, like, you know, sometime I try to post something to see how devoted Mr. Ham, attorney Ham, is regarding his job. He is we literally like really step away from the courthouse. So we're trying to do everything in our power to make sure that you get your case handled. Unfortunately, today we're going to talk about something that needs to be talked about for those who's going to divorce. So this is one of the things that we love to talk about. We don't love to talk about it, but we have to talk about it. So we have a few questions that our listeners, customers, clients send to us so they can ask Mr. Ham those questions. The first question they have with you, if somebody's going to a divorce, can you tell them which law that is pertain to that case?
Okay, so first of all, nowadays the actual legal term that's used to describe what most people refer to as divorce is a dissolution of marriage. So if you are lawfully married and you want to dissolve that union, then you want to go through this process called dissolution of marriage. Here in the state of Florida, dissolution doesn't require a fault. It's no one's fault. All that is required is to establish that the marriage is irretrievably broken. That's the legal standard. It's irretrievably broken. And then the court goes through an analysis. It's, in my opinion, relatively simple analysis. And, you know, you would think that people would keep things simple and the divorces would be simple matters. That's the way that we like to approach it. We want to simplify things rather than make your life any more difficult than it has to be. We know that ending a marriage is not necessarily an easy thing. There are a lot of emotions involved, and as well as the financial and economic side of it. So we do bring the human part of the practice of law when helping our clients solve that particular problem. That's just one of the many problems that the law offices of David Lee Ham Jr. PA solve.
So they call that part of that law family law, right? That's a part of the family law,
yes,
right?
The general
term
would be family law, and it includes not only dissolutions of marriage, but also adoptions, legal name changes, a broad variety of things some of which most people would even think about, such as dependency law. The dependency law falls under family law.
laws.
Most people will wonder, well, what is dependency law? So in the case of children that are either abused, neglected, or abandoned, that falls under Chapter 39 of the Florida statutes. There are provisions to deal with those circumstances. So family law is the broad term.
As you can see, Mr. Ham is going over all of the question in 2 seconds. So that's telling you. So if you need additional information to know what law practice that family law is, you know, the phone number is 904-307-3888. Just give us a call. We will schedule an appointment with you so we can go over all what family law has to do. Let's switch back to Mr. Ham. We have some other question for him. The question they do have, Mr. Ham, is that what will the court take into consideration when you're getting a divorce?
Well, Ella, before I answer that question, you did such a wonderful job introducing me. I want to also introduce you. Maybe the viewers already know who you are, but maybe they don't know that your role in our office is an office manager here. So I want to thank you for the wonderful job that you do, and you know, people get the pleasure of working with you. So in terms of what a court takes into consideration when it comes to dissolutions of marriage, when it comes to family law in general, the court is sitting as a court of equity, and so when you're dealing with the equities of a situation, you're looking at fairness. I mentioned before the analysis that the court is going to consider. They're going to start, you know, with the length of the marriage. They look at the parties involved, whether they have children, and if those children are minor children. They're going to look at how to divide up the assets. That's usually where it starts, with what we call an equitable distribution of assets, and then as well as take into account any debts and liabilities. So, you know, for much more information into those analyses, into equitable distribution, child custody, you know, time sharing, all those sorts of things, alimony and so forth, you really have to look at them on a case-by-case basis, just like the court would do, and consider what the facts are. So if you have these types of questions, the best thing for you to do is to schedule an appointment to come in and let's analyze your specific case.
We want to say thank you to all of the people who are watching. Give us a like if you want us to continue with that program, like Ask David Questions. So, you know, you can email those questions to admin@hamlawfl.com. I'm sorry. So just give us a like and tell us where you're watching at. The other question we have, will mothers automatically get custody?
The answer to that question is no. Under the eyes of the law here in the state of Florida, mothers, fathers, they're equal under the law. They both have equal rights concerning their children. Now, what does happen is, most often, since they're not going to be residing together, one parent will have primary custody, the other will have will be what we call the non-custodial.
I think what the person want to say, will mother automatically get primary custody? Primary custody.
And the answer to that question is still also
okay.
No, not necessarily. Although, you know, statistically it may be more often than not. But going back to the previous question of what will the court take into consideration. Now, generally, each parent has an equal right to time with the child, and they call this process time sharing. And so the court will consider some factors. Now, if there were circumstances that showed that it's not in the child's best interest to be with the particular parent, and only in those circumstances would the court find differently. But the court has to find specific facts to show that it's not in the child's best interest. You know, whether they were talking, like we talked previously, about abuse, neglect, abandonment, or similar to the dependency situation. But as a general rule, the answer to that question is both parents have equal.
I think David is teaching you some mean you end up not calling. But guys, the law is very broad. So in case it's a case by case situation. Your case may not be similar as somebody else who got the same who get divorced. So the best thing you need to do is to give us a call, guys. We'll schedule an appointment with you and then we go through that and then we can go from there. So we have a question that have two parts. They said, for the parents who have the visitation, who got the secondary parent, the one who doesn't have the full primary time, they call it, I don't know if they call it visitation in law, okay, whatever, however they call it, is that how they will do, how the visitation will work. And then they said, for the parent who's paying child support, how the child support work.
Well, here's the thing, that regarding the visitation and so forth, you want to see first, can the parties reach an agreement on their own? Because that's going to be the best resolution. And to the extent that you can reach an agreement and come up with these terms on your own and not have to involve the court in that, the better off everyone's going to be. But we know that that's not always the case. The answer to all these questions are really going to be, that's going to be on a case-by-case basis, very specific. And so I don't want to mislead anyone to have any idea that that there's going to be a particular formula imposed when it comes to visitation. Now, the primary concern is going to be, they want to be fair to the parents, to each of the parents, but also the best interest of the child.
Okay, so what about the child support? How that work? Who pay child support?
Okay, so child support's the second question. Another question, that the state of Florida has guidelines for child support. Each parent has an obligation to support the child, but the level of support will vary based off of the financial conditions of that particular parent. So a parent that's earning substantially more would be expected to provide a greater percentage of the care for that child. And again, those are guidelines that are provided and based off of the income, but you're not strictly required to adhere to that. So once again, this is going to depend on the individual circumstances, and it's best to analyze that in the course of a consultation.
Okay, so we got a question, that will be the last question, which is a two-part. They said, do I need a lawyer to file for divorce, and why? Do I need a lawyer to file for full custody of my child, and why?
Okay, so let me start from the beginning. That as a party in litigation, you have the right to represent your own interests. You absolutely may proceed in court without having an attorney to do it. But then you have to ask yourself, why are you doing that? Are you doing that because you know the law, you know the rules of evidence, you have experience and comfort in dealing with the legal system? And the answer for the vast majority of people to that question is no. Even if you're a highly educated person, if this is not what you routinely do, the expectation is that you're going to have to perform at the same level of someone who does do this on a routine. So they're going to expect you to carry yourself like a lawyer if you're not a lawyer. So if you don't want that type of pressure, I would suggest that you hire a lawyer. And there are all kinds of other benefits to having a lawyer, and that they will explain the process to you. They'll take time to analyze your situation and make it clear to you so that you can make wise decisions. Because ultimately, you as the client, you are the one making the decisions as far as the substance of what you're doing. We as lawyers can make some decisions about some procedures in terms of what would be appropriate to to say in a particular instance or file or what have you, but you make the big decisions.
Okay, so custody, they need to have you expend that. So guys, it was a pleasure to listen, to see you guys pop it up, and then say if you want us to continue, come with those questions, email me those questions, so we're gonna come ask attorney David questions. So today we are talking about divorce, custody, and stuff like that, but next time is gonna be you guys that is manipulated, that gonna make the narrative going on. If you want to talk about something else, whatever you want to talk about, we're gonna come up and ask the question for you, because one thing we want to know, we want you guys to be fully educated when it comes to certain things. So like Mr. Him said, yes, the law said that you can represent yourself, but the question I always ask, can you operate on yourself? If you can go ahead and have your own heart surgery, I would call you and say, okay, I guess you can. There is no way for you guys to go to fight without your armor, especially if the other party have a lawyer. So if the other party, which is your ex or soon to be ex, have a lawyer to represent his case or her case, you should at least yourself have a lawyer to represent your case as well. So give us a call. Our phone number is 904-773-4762, 904-773-4762. It's always a pleasure to be in front of you guys. I am so glad. Oh, I give you the wrong number, did I? Yes, I did. I know that's not your office number. Sorry, guys. The phone number is 904-307-3888. 904-307-3888. It is our office number. We open 24 hours. So if you got anybody who you want to refer, please pass out the information as well. Until next time, it was such a pleasure to be with you, and thank you for all of those people who came up: Christelle, Medbar, Wendy, and all of the people I'm not mentioning their name. Please, guys, for watching. Until next time, we'll be back same time, Thursday, 4:30, to answer any question you may have. We love you. We appreciate you. Until next time.